that I have made related to sharing with y'all my experiments, reflections, and themes from the art that I made over the past week. And I was sitting back just reflecting on like what would be helpful to share. And last week shared with y'all like some sketches and some collages. And then this week, I was inspired to create some different pieces. Um, and I wouldn't even say like create different pieces, but more like I was inspired to sketch in a different way throughout the week and then also process my anxiety in a different way this particular week. So, hey y'all, my name is Sequoia. I use she and her pronouns. I am a expressive, intuitive, mixed media artist. I'm also a therapist. And I have been, like I mentioned, this is my second video that I created, that I made related to like experiments, reflections, and themes. And this week I did a little bit of a different approach to my warm up sketching, but then also I was very, um, I'm still very much intrigued by different techniques to loosen up my marks. And I talk about this in my other mixed media series that I have up right now, so definitely check that out. But um, I was really interested in, again, like how I loosen up my marks. And in those previous videos, that's the connection I'm trying to make. In those previous videos I share about how I do that with my materials and the tools that I use. And then this is more around like the expression of like what drawing techniques or sketching techniques that I use to also encourage like loosening up. And I really enjoy like blind contour drawing, continuous line drawing, single line drawing as a way to warm up. But I also, because my style is more expressive, I also really like that approach in just typical drawing, typical sketching. Not just as a warm up. That's what I'm saying. It's like the main technique to use for the actual sketch. So, um, I did a few different continuous line drawings, and some of these have um, sticky notes on them to remind me of the things that I really enjoyed, the different kind of like pieces in the still life, if you will, that I really enjoy drawing, and that the next time that I sit down to do a line drawing, to ensure that I have some of these elements in the piece itself, because it's something that I enjoyed from the last time that I drew, the last sketching session. So typically what I will do, well, let me say this. What I did this past week was when I sat down at my art table, I would pull up different images of altars. So these first few drawings are just random pieces off of altars. Um, and spiritual altars, right? And so I would draw those out. I would also date it and then share a little bit about what was going on with me, my emotions. I was also processing through um, a blog that I'm getting ready to write about mood and its connection to art, how you can show mood in your art pieces. So I have just some longer notes like on here. Hi there. Oh, I think it'd be so interesting. I feel like it's bots that they'll say hello in your lives, and then if you don't answer them fast enough, like they'll get pushy. and then be like, I said hi. Like, okay, good morning. Um, so on some of these other ones, I have like longer notes where, like I said, I am sharing more about this blog that I have coming up, talking about how you can depict mood in your art pieces, different aspects of that. So let's see, this is one, this is my first one. And one of the things that I was trying to think about, like, what's helpful for me to share. Um, what's helpful for me to share related to these continuous line drawings. And I think like I just share the experiments clearly and then the elements that I really enjoyed. So like I just did this with a Faber-Castell, the big brush pit artist pen in black. I used a marker to create the black lines, and then I used the Stabilo Boss. Let's see. Stabilo Boss Pink, the fluorescent neon pink for the pink pops of color. And on this one, I really like the books and containers with flowers. So I like the books and the containers with flowers on this one. I also really like black the black flowers and the pink bowls. Is that what I said? I can't read my writing. I think I just rewrote it. Books, black, pink. Yeah, black bowls, pink flowers. I really like that combination. It looks very graphic to me. Um, let's see. This one I made the same night. So I'll do multiple of these as well. It's usually not just one. I will usually do like two or three, especially if I'm liking like the composition. These are still altars, and y'all will see as I get closer towards the end of the week, I switch up my subject matter a little bit. But let's see. My note here says that I like the tall flower containers and the candles. So like these, I really like the tall flower containers, and then like the candles here. These candles. This color is the same black marker, but I switched up clearly some of the colors. So this is like a burnt sienna and a Winsor and Newton marker, and then this is another Stabilo Boss in like orange on here. This one, I really like the flowers. So these flowers, I really like the books and then the instruments. This one, I was playing around with more florals in the still life and what I incorporated in the composition. Also, the composition is a little bit different. I was just kind of piling on, the different aspects of the altars, different pieces that I like from different pictures together. And so for this one, I was really liking it was kind of like a candelabra with these hanging candles. This was a bowl or a pot or something, but I really like the flowers in that one, and then also the book, the way that I drew the books. Yeah, and I think these were like maracas. I think that's the right word, or at least in the Western, maracas. I think that's right. Okay. Oh, let me put my sticker back on here so that I keep up with my notes. Okay. Okay, so all of those were done on the same day. This one, I like the candles, the dagger, and the red color. So this one, I did some different pops of color in it, right? And I have like these candles here, a dagger that I really like. I really like the red, um, as opposed to like this magenta. with the black. I really like the red with this black. And this red is a deep scarlet red. Okay. On my little sticky notes, I said I love all of this. I like the hanging flowers and the face. These are hanging flowers. Here's the face here, right? I really enjoyed this composition, like someone like clearly peeking in, to like what's happening on the page. I like the way that I organize all of the different elements here. I love the flowers. I also like again this red with this black. The pink is okay, but I really like that red. It's my favorite. Still playing with altars, but now bringing in, some faces here. Okay. This is still the same night. Hanging flowers, leaves with holes, um, pine cones, and lines. So I really like the hanging flowers. I was still thinking about like faces, how to keep the faces in this particular composition. What I like about that, what I don't like about that. As soon as I put this down here, I was like, no, this face should have been like more up, um, like looking at this this side of the page, as opposed to them being parallel to each other. I really liked these flowers as well. Doing the drawing, sketching out the leaves that have the holes in them is a really good and interesting way to practice single line, continuous line drawing. Um, and of course, to get some different textures and elements into the page, it helps it not look so flat. Okay, so this is where the subject matter starts to switch up a little bit. Um, I love drawing like cafe scenes, so I sketched out some. This is like one side of a cafe scene, and then I added these additional elements in the composition to kind of play with foreground and middle ground, a little bit of background, but more like foreground and middle ground. Like this is foreground, foreground, and then like middle ground, and then these pieces could potentially be seen as background. But like I said, different subject matter, still pulling in some of the elements from the altar. So I really, really like drawing hanging flowers with continuous line. So that is going to be something that I continue to repeat when I do my continuous line drawings. There will definitely be like hanging flowers. I think that that is just an interesting, again, like texture to kind of add in. Um, and so, yeah, again, you see this red color kind of still being pulled in and popped in here and there. And like I said, I really like that particular shade of red with the black. Okay, this one is pulling in some pieces of altar, some pieces of like bookcases. So again, playing with like big, tall, larger size items, round items, also like some butterflies and things like that. This one, um, I was trying to play with like bigger elements as well, still like foreground, middle ground, and then like background kind of stuff here as well. So again, like thinking about how to incorporate line drawings with the right kind of composition, and then um, again, these aspects that I'm playing with related to foreground, middle ground, and background to create depth. So it's not so flat, you know? Okay, again, my favorite red color and playing with scale here. I just see some continuous line drawings of my hands. I, you know, position my hand like this, as well, like that, and just sketched out my hand. I also, like I said, was playing with scale. So usually, for some reason my hands, when I sketch my hands and do continuous line drawing with my hands, they're usually very small. This one, I was pushing myself to make them bigger. So I really like um, the way that these hand sketches came out too. One of the things that I noticed as well about continuous line drawing for me is that it invited me to not necessarily jump around, but explore different subject matters. So, like I said, initially I started off with an altar, and I just kind of followed the intuitive flow of the day, what I wanted to draw, what I was drawn to sketch. And I love drawing faces, and I started to pull in that those subject matters into continuous line drawing as well. So here are a few from on the 21st where yeah, I'm playing with different face positions, also pulling in like a pink pop of color as well. But I love the composition of this page. I love the way that the line drawings, the faces turned out. I want to explore this a little bit more. Um, okay, we just got two more. Okay. So again, continuing to pull in images, faces. You see here the hanging flowers coming back in. I threw in some bird cages. I did some bird cage studies a few years ago and have been flipping through some of my old sketchbooks for a previous video that's up on my mixed media series, the one about paper, and saw like my bird cage studies in my sketchbook. And so I just popped two really small ones in the corner as symbols, you know, kind of motifs. And yeah, pulled in some altar elements like this candle, but then I really love this composition of, you know, adding a body, a full body with these, you know, differently placed images or pieces, and then the faces as well. And yeah, the red color and then this pop of blue I think is really pretty as well too. Okay, and then this one is just a few line drawings. I did I recorded myself drawing this one. So y'all will see that video, the process for me creating this side of the images and also pulling in the red pops of color. Y'all will see that in a vlog that goes up hopefully within the next week. This night I was really, really exhausted, but wanted to still sit down and create. And so, yeah, was just kind of, again, continuing to explore like round items and different ways to create leaves with continuous line. So those are my experiments, reflections, and themes from the continuous line drawings. I think that if you are looking for, you know, a new or interesting way to loosen up your strokes, practice different themes, maybe try to do some continuous lines. At the top of this video, I shared that I wanted to just walk through these pieces as well. Um, One night I was really anxious, and so I sat down and just started drawing some faces and created some collage pieces. And I'm not sure if they're going to be collage pieces or potential sticker designs. Um, but I really like these. I think they're cute. I was exploring this color palette, which is why they're all the same color. Um, yeah, this is like a yellow, a pink, like a violet pink, and then a brown, and or like an Indian red. And so, yeah, I really like this color palette. Um, and I enjoyed like exploring these colors together as well as the different materials. I use quite a few different materials in this one. Um, let's see. I should have pulled those. It would have been good for me to pull out the materials that I use for this one. Let's see, I'll just do it right now. We definitely use this. We use this. Use this. And I said Indian red, but I think it was the kaput mortem, which is more of like a brown. Um, I think that's what I used here. Um, so it was these, and then is that it? Yeah. So I used these two more. Oh, and then I used I think it was this burnt sienna. So I used these two. I use these two highlighters. This more muted pink is what's over here, and then the pop of pink is this neon color. um the Faber-Castell Pit Artist pen in a dark chrome yellow, Holbein and Luminous Opera, the Polychromos in dark Naples ochre, Polychromos and Caput Mortem, and I pops of color of this Indian red too from Polychromos. And then the Winsor and Newton burnt sienna. Oh, and then I also use for the skin. It's not praline. Okay, dusky pink, right? For this one's face, I use the praline, and you can see the difference in the shades, right? Um, For this face, I use praline. And then for the other, this face and all the others, I use the dusky pink. So these are all of the materials that I use in making my collage pieces. And that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed, I don't know, like I shared, I was really anxious when I sat down and I just had on like one of my favorite podcasts. I was like, let me try out a new color palette. I don't know. Again, this is all very intuitive. I don't know why I started drawing faces, but I did. I had these little sheets of paper this size. I think I had like two. I cut up seven so that I could do seven of them. I like to either do my pieces in like three, five, or sevens. So I picked 7. And yeah, started with the base of wanting to explore this particular color palette. Oh, the pink. This is the pink that was in it. And the Karen Dash violet pink. I think I mentioned that. Yeah, I wanted to explore this color palette. So I was like, let me just make some faces. And on these single sheets of paper, started drawing them. And then I was like, oh, these are cute. Let me just cut them out and see what what happens when I cut them out. So I cut out one and really thought that that was interesting. And then just cut the rest of them out. So the message, the message around that is, exploring your color palettes is amazing, right? That's the practical aspect of it, right? Like when you enjoy a color palette or are drawn to a color palette, definitely work through like what you like about that particular color palette and maybe actually create an entire piece as opposed to just swatching. And then clearly, me being a mixed media artist, like adding and layering different pieces of material to create depth and effects is also a part of, again, this share out with the two kind of elements that I explore throughout the week. Thank you for checking out this particular week. Follow along for more. Subscribe. Please like the video. And I'll see you next week. Otherwise, definitely follow my daily mixed media starter kit series.